we'll accept that now. Seeing none, we'll move on to, first, before I get to the approval of the minutes, we do have an amendment of the agenda. We're gonna add, Christine Hartman has a MATP participation grant document that we will add at the very end of the agenda. And just to announce that, since it didn't make the agenda that everyone had access to.
Motion to add it to the agenda.
I will make that motion to add that item to the agenda.
And I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any additions or questions or not? Yes? Question?
Somebody said they couldn't hear you.
Okay. Speak loud, more loud.
Is it on?
I'm not sure, I'll check it, go ahead.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. We'll now look for approval of the minutes of our July 18th meeting and our workshop of July 17th.
Make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. Mrs. Nguyen, you have the floor.
Thank you. We had receipts on July 30th and July 31st of $3,555,183.61. That brought us to a total cash of $8,227,815.27. Our expenditures this week were $3,563,830.33. The tax claim is $283,610.18, leaves us a balance of $4,380,374.76.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, corrections, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved. And you,
I do have something else here. We have an intermunicipal agreement to approve with Mount Gretna Borough. They're one of the municipalities that we do not collect their municipal tax for, but as of January 1st, we will start collecting their taxes with our county, like we do with all the other, almost all the other municipalities, except for 2 in the county.
okay. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve that tax-related resolution. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll need signatures then, but I'll get it to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Introduce yourself and then you may proceed.
Michelle Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Personnel transactions under resignations and terminations. Amir Aga, Fiscal Technician at Children and Youth, termination effective July 22nd. Hillary Escobar, Part-Time Court Clerk and Pathonetary Clerk of Courts, resignation effective August 1st. Helen Gomez, General Clerk C and Pathonetary Clerk of Courts, termination effective July 17th. Philip Wagner, Part-Time Court Clerk and Pathonetary Clerk of Courts Office, resignation with the last working day being July 18th. Darius Hubbard, Full-Time Deputy Sheriff in the Sheriff's Office, resignation effective July 24th. And Jason Ayers, Regular Part-Time Office Support 1 and Voter Registration, resignation effective last working day of July 18th.
Make a motion to approve the resignations and terminations as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, Bradley Ann Wagner, promotion from Caseworker 1 in Children and Youth to Caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,661.28 biweekly effective August 4th. Gina Gonzalez, transfer from Work Release Assistant / Assistant Counselor at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility to Caseworker 1 in Children and Youth at the rate of $1,562.16 biweekly effective August 5th. Emily Mayenza, promotion from probation officer 2, assistant supervisor in probation services, to probation officer 3, field supervisor, at the rate of $2,738.61 biweekly, effective August 5th. Kyle Clements, transfer from full-time correctional officer at the Lebanon County Correctional Facility to full-time deputy sheriff in the sheriff's office at the rate of $19.94 per hour, effective August 5th.
Make a motion to approve those changes.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under other transactions, Area Agency on Aging would like to hire Kahara Neopani as an adult abuse investigator at the rate of $1,767.92 biweekly, effective August 12th. Children and Youth Services would like to hire Alyssa Hassler as a caseworker 1 at the rate of $1,562.16 biweekly, effective August 12th. President Judge Towalk would like to hire Herman S. Crick Jr. as a court officer at the rate of $13.05 per hour, effective August 5th. District Attorney would like to hire Edward Burns as a detective at the rate of $3,026.36 biweekly, effective October 14th. The District Attorney would like to hire Jonathan Holland as an Assistant District Attorney 1 at the rate of $2,530.05 biweekly, effective August 5th. President Judge Towalk would like to hire Ashley M. Wolf as an Administrative Assistant 1 in the Domestic Relations Office at the rate of $1,216.30 biweekly, effective August 20th. Pathonetary Clerk of Courts would like to hire Cheryl Martin as a part-time court clerk at the rate of $15.96 per hour, effective August 5th. Pathonetary Clerk of Courts would like to rehire Brittany Benich as a part-time court clerk at the rate of $15.96 per hour, effective August 5th. And the Renova Center would like to hire the following 2 individuals, both as full-time direct support aides, both at the rate of $16.21 per hour, both effective August 12th, and that is Tanisha Lopez and Michael Lowry.
Make a motion to approve the other transactions as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Moving on to Salary Board, motion to approve all transactions previously read plus the following. Jesse Guzman, add interpreter stipend of interpreter 1, Office Support 2 and Domestic Relations, annual stipend of $1,500 prorated from the effective date of August 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those salary board transactions. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, Mrs. Krebs, would you like to take center stage?
First, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, I won't sit down then. Thank you very much, Commissioners, for inviting us to attend. And when I say us, I'm talking about all these folks back here who have devoted themselves to trying to make Dinosaur Rock a much more visitor-friendly site. In fact, our last cleaning, we had 2 families show up, and at the same time that we were cleaning in the most recent time. It is an asset for us. It's 200 million years old. Visitors and locals both use it, and we really want to make sure that Dinosaur Rock, as well as other locations that are natural in Lebanon County, are preserved and graffiti becomes no longer an issue. It takes a lot of people, so I'm only here because I suggested that you might be interested in meeting some of this group. And may I take a moment?
Yes, we have certificates if we'd like to combine the
Okay,
introductions.
could I have them come stand here?
Sure.
Come on up, everyone. Amongst the folks are the Chief of Police of South Londonderry Township and his wife, Jenna, who used to be the manager of South Londonderry Township. So it's great to have had worked them hours and hours in 2023. And then the family, the Barleys, have not only themselves, 3 of the husband, wife, and granddaughter, all attending and working hard. Reverend Stolple from Lawn and the church, and pastor who worked. Steve Blunt, I don't know how we couldn't have gotten along without his work in both last year and this year. And Courtney, thank heavens, from Lebanon Valley Conservancy, because if you hadn't been willing, the Conservancy, to join, then we wouldn't have had a 501c3 to ask you county commissioners for money in our first year's endeavor to do that work. And consequently, they become extraordinarily important. Joe Forte, my goodness, Joe comes from quite a distance away, and he started his work in Lebanon County on boxcar rocks and continues that. And when he came in 2022 for help us, we were a little bit in trouble. And he happened to have a lot of equipment with him, which made it possible for us to be reasonably successful. And the Game Commission, Justin Clark is the person, well, first the Game Commission made sure we could get a permit and come in that first year. The next year they arrived full force. They helped in so many ways, especially with that.
And provided elephant snot.
I was gonna say the elephant snot, which is $100 a bucket. And so for the last 2 years, the Game Commission has been an incredible partner. And Lowe's itself has provided us materials and employees. And I know I'm missing somebody. Let's see, anybody else?
Who carried the 500 gallons of water? That's what I want.
Well, big mistake in 2022 was Lawn Fire Company volunteered the water. Unfortunately, they didn't give us the pressure hoses so that we couldn't spray the snot off at the right time. Fortunately, Joe had brought some of his pressure hosing apparatus so that we could at least get something done. We learned a lot in 2022. 2023 was hell on earth, excuse my expression, because there were layers and layers of paint. They'd come back again. And so these folks that were there in 2023, they did a lot of work for hours and hours. This year, it wasn't quite so bad because we didn't have layers. And so we know that if we have to, oh, I forgot, John Baird from the Lebanon Valley Hiking Club, you're hiding back there. Getting the hiking club involved is also really important. So I am very thankful that so many people participated, and many are missing, and they're at work, or on vacation, and they have said, we'll come back again if we have to. So thank you, commissioners.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you all for participating as volunteers. Graffiti, we hope you will never have to do it again, but that's a lofty hope. And I'll put me down for a bucket of the elephant snot or whatever it's called for next year if you need it. If you need it,
Seriously, you'll get us a bucket?
Yep, I'm a sponsor bucket.
Oh, I like that, sponsoring buckets. Did you hear that? Yeah, I'll pass these out outside when we leave, is that okay?
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'd just like to extend my gratitude to all the volunteers that put their work into this. Courtney for helping to organize last year was really a driving force behind recruiting volunteers last year. You know, on behalf of the Game Commission, you know, our mission is to conserve and protect wildlife and their habitats, and so that is what the majority of our time and effort and resources are dedicated towards. You know, and unfortunately, we generally just don't have the time to dedicate internally to aesthetics, you know, such as graffiti, you know, important landmarks. And so was kind of a big thing for us to be able to mobilize volunteers to get a bunch of bodies on the ground and really put some sweat equity into this, and you know, in a day's time, do what would take our habitat crew of 3 people a really, really long time. And so that is one thing that we are short on is, you know, laborers and bodies, but we do have equipment, and so that was, I think, very, very important, you know, to the mission to be able to supply that water. You know, we have UTVs and brush trucks that we can get back in there. You know, a lot of volunteers donated gas-powered pressure washers, which aided tremendously in the removal of the paint, you know, after the elephant snot was applied. And I think everything just kind of came together to make a really productive effort. And I really want to extend our thanks as the Pennsylvania Game Commission to the volunteers to keep Dinosaur Rock looking family friendly.
I'd like to personally thank everyone here, and you know, what you've done is tremendous. And to have the state working with our local people is commendable. Thank you for having a listening ear and providing the elephant snot. That was great. You know, I just think it's really a nice partnership, and it's lovely to see. Thank you.
And we take all ages. So, from these young high school students to this very old woman, we can all do our part to clean up those formations. And it might not just be dinosaur, but it could be the boxcar rocks and so forth. And I do want to, if I may, enforcement's important. And so the Game Commission has installed cameras. So they will begin and they actually have found persons, apprehended them in 2023, and were fined and had to pay restitution. I think it was around 5,000 in round numbers. So that's enforcement. The other E is education. How in the world do we convince mostly young people, because they were mostly 17 to 20, not to do this and to appreciate nature? So we've got posters now with the Game Commission's phone number on it, as well as for state parks and state forests. And wherever we can post them and go into the schools, we'll do our best to try to educate people as well. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
I can echo too, speaking of old, I visited Dinosaur Rock probably 50 years ago and climbed boxcar rocks too, so unfortunately the graffiti was a problem then. I couldn't understand that, but again, thank you all for taking your time to help clean that up. And they are gems in our community, and again, thank you particularly Pat for organizing this so we could say face to face. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you. I'll be right out there. I can't hear.
The owl.
Yeah, oh, underneath that. It's right there. Union Canal.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, oh, why can't you use this? Yeah.
We're neighbors. Oh, okay. Oh, you live right next to the.
Make your way through the crowd.
I did, yes. It's quite the crowd this morning.
100 million years
Well,
old.
do.
so-
Yeah, you live right next to us.
Take you out there.
Yeah, okay.
Second property.
Okay. That's right. Okay. Oh, you make it a horse farm, okay.
Horse farm.
Yes, yeah, that's right. After you.
All right, folks, we'll get back to our regular agenda. And introduce yourself, please, and you may proceed.
Good morning, Holly Leahy, Administrator for Lebanon County Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities, Early Intervention Programs. I'm here this morning to present several items to our contract. So I will begin with...
Public meeting, it has to stay open. Thank you.
I will begin with fiscal year 2023-2024 contract amendments. There are 13 amendments. 4 are for mental health, 7 for early intervention, and 2 for intellectual disabilities. In all contracts, we're needing additional units for services delivered over and above our original contract. The total is $71,633. We will work these expenditures into our current budget and allocations. Therefore, we are not requesting any additional county tax dollars.
I'll make a motion to approve those contract amendments.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and second for approving the 23-24 contract amendments. Any questions regarding this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same signs, so moved.
Thank you. The next are contract amendments for fiscal year 2024-2025. There are 3 contract amendments, all for intellectual disabilities. The total is $17,851. And again, we'll put these expenditures into our current budget and allocations, so we are not requesting any additional county tax dollars.
Make a motion to approve the $17,851 in contract amendments for 24-25.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second put on the floor. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you. And then finally, the Human Services Plan. I'm presenting this morning for fiscal year 2024-2025. This is for your review and approval. Our annual Human Services Plan is Pennsylvania's way of obtaining data and reports for how we're spending the block grant funds all year long. There are several county departments included in the block grant funding, so today I'm actually representing not only Lebanon County Mental Health and Intellectual Disabilities, but also the Drug and Alcohol Commission and Lebanon Community Action Partnership. We have been a block grant county since 2017. The block grant brings us together to write the plan, but more importantly, allows for great collaboration as they are flexible funds which can be redistributed from one department that it may be under budget to another running a deficit. Our block grant funding totals $4,740,330, and that's split between those county departments in the following way: 61% for mental health, 28% for intellectual disabilities, 6% for the Drug and Alcohol Commission, and then 5% for Community Action Partnership. It is also important to note that the block grant funding is only a percentage of the overall funding for each department, as we receive additional federal, categorical funds, and county funding. You received a copy of the Human Services Plan, which totals 70 pages, so that's a rather large document. And again, I'm seeking your approval and formal signatures in order to submit the final plan by the deadline of August 12th.
Make a motion to approve that plan as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and I would like to just commend the team that put this together. It's a laborious task, and I think I counted 9 participants that put a lot of hours into producing this document. And just going back, my recollection is that in the past, if something was left unspent in a department, it was sent back before we had the block grant as a way of keeping those monies in Lebanon County and reallocating them. Is that pretty close?
Yes, that's correct. And we really have not had any leftover or carryover funds for the last few years because we're able to shift those funds to another department that needs them. In particular, for fiscal year 23-24, already we have transferred some funds to Community Action Partnership, specifically for rental assistance, that is just really ever increasing. So that has been quite a gift to be able to transfer those funds and utilize them for what our community needs here in Lebanon.
It does go back to 2012 when I was chair. That was my main lobbying thing.
Absolutely.
For CCAP, yeah.
Okay, any further discussion regarding this motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it very
You
much.
betcha. Is Mr. Torres here?
Good morning.
Rafael, good morning. And welcome.
Gracias.
Just introduce yourself and your affiliation, and then you can proceed with your presentation.
Yes, good morning. Buenos dias. My name is Rafael Torres from the Wepa Empowerment Center, Tech Centro Lebanon, here in the city.
They're located at the former Elks building.
Oh, yes.
Just so
Just for historical references. First of all, foremost, I do want to thank the county commissioners for supporting this community project from the start. We were awarded $750,000 of American Recovery ARPA funds in order to establish this much needed center. It is a workforce training facility that's located in the city in the former Elks Building in 9 South 9th Street. It was built in 1916, so it needs a lot of TLC, a lot of tender loving care, and that equates to monies. The building is in really good shape. It just needs a lot of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and getting the building up to date for the next 30 years. We have a lot of challenges here in not only just the city, but our county. I just wanted to briefly share a few numbers. I did give the commissioners a packet of information. We love data collecting, and this is true. These are folks that are actually walking in through our building. Right now, we're serving, the majority of the population is coming in is between 24 and 44, even split between males and females. Primarily, the majority are Hispanic, 61%, but then the other 39% are non-Hispanic. We found out by asking them meaningful questions that 33% of them are non-high school graduates. This is the numbers of folks that we've seen since we opened our doors in August, and that we've provided services are 723 individuals and counting. So when I'm sharing these percentages, it's from that 733. 58% of them do not have access to a car, their own transportation. They primarily speak English, Spanish, French, Creole, Russian, and Arabic. 68% of them are renters. 62% of them are unemployed. And 47% of them do not have medical insurance. All those numbers matter because that's the reason that we asked for an opportunity and responsibility to put a center together, a workforce and education training center, is to tackle those issues and tackle those monies. And we know that people need better access to their funds. They also need the secondary piece of education, which is how to manage your money. It's not about getting access to it, but how is it that you're investing it. So we have a lot of supportive classes that we're going to be doing with students. They're going to start or have started coming in, but in September of this year, I'm proud to announce that we have 40 adult learners that will be educated in healthcare programs such as phlebotomy, medical assistant, nurse's assistant, healthcare office physician assistant. So we have 40 that are already in place. One of the big questions that I was asked early on is about educators. They've all been signed up to start teaching. I always said, and my wife, that was one of my wife's concerns, she's the co-founder of the center, is that where we're going to get the educators. I said, the educators are here. Maybe they're just looking for a new nice place to come in and provide their talents. Actually, I got one back here that volunteered, Dr. Duncan. He volunteered to start engaging our healthcare students. He's bilingual, he speaks Spanish and English, and he wants to support this community. There are a lot of... Yes?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is providing official certification for your nurse aid training and things of that nature?
That's an awesome question because we partnered with HAC, Harrisburg Area Community College, who provided all the instructors. So everybody's walking out with credentials from Harrisburg Area Community College. We've had a lot of good financial support in getting our center put together and getting it to move forward. So it is a collaboration, a community collaboration. It needs everybody the willing to come in and give of their part. We all have talents to share. It's just trying to find the ways on how to fit those talents. So I'm not doing the work. Trust me, I got plenty of work to do. It's finding those willing folks to come in and impart their wisdom and just get our community as a whole in a better place. So, yes, sir.
While I'm thinking of it, when something new comes onto the scene, it's very difficult to break through and be, get the awareness out there. I was at a luncheon yesterday, and the speaker mentioned that anyone, they do utility support checks up to $200 for but one time. To get a second time, because these folks, if they're unemployed, must go to WIPA,
Oof.
or they must go to the Career Link, yes. So your credibility and the awareness factor is out there, and for them to have to go to you guys to see what kind of jobs you have available or have connections with, and so on. I think that shows that you've arrived at this part of your program. Now in September you get the classes going. I think you're well on your way there.
Besides the challenge with the building, getting this 1916 building up to 2024 code standards, we had to make sure that we were actively engaging our folks, and our folks need access to employment. Sometimes they just don't, they have the talents, the skills, but they're not aware of it, so that takes a lot of time, and we have to dedicate time in order to get them in the right place. I'm full of stories, and I can be here all day.
One.
Really cool. There was an older gentleman, and there's plenty of them. He's 60 plus and looking for work. He wanted to come back into the workforce, and he goes to all these different temp agencies, which is primarily what most people do. He wasn't getting any callbacks. He shows up to WEPA on a Tuesday morning, and he engaged with our staff. Remember early on when I started, I said, WEPA, yes, it's Spanish, it's Puerto Rican, we're screaming and shouting, yippee, yahoo, hooray. The center is available for everybody. So he was kind of sort of like, what is this place? But as soon as he came in and got embraced, the employment specialist sat with him Tuesday morning. By Thursday afternoon, he had a job. He had his resume prepped. He acquired some new interviewing skills because things do change. I equip personally, because I'm involved in employment, providing employment services. I personally train my staff on what's new, what new trainings are out there, or what to look for. And by Thursday, he had a job. Friday morning, he comes in, and guess what? He came in with some flowers, some hugs, and he's like, "This is what we needed in Lebanon for a long, long time." I'm not originally from here. I've been here the last 8 years. But when we have longtime residents tell me and tell us, this is what we've needed for a long, long time, that just adds more fuel to my fire that I already had. I barely go to sleep at night. Not that I'm worried, it's just the excitement of the future, of what's going to be here.
I don't want to, interject too much.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say that if you didn't come from Lancaster County,
Oof.
where you got the exposure to the model that was
original.
over there, I mean, that was vital to the credibility that you brought to that meeting when we bought into your...
Yes, sir. Thank you for reminding me of that. Sometimes I forget because I'm too involved, but I actually recruited my friends from Lancaster, who I was involved with them early on. To your point, Commissioner Phillips, I actually volunteered for the founder who established this tech center. I was a volunteer radio disc jockey on his radio station for over 15 years. That's why I can carry long conversations. I had to entertain people for a lot of hours. And so when COVID came, he was my first go-to person. I knew that he had established the Tech Centro. I knew the model very well, and I said, Carlos, would you be willing to provide your wisdom and guidance on this? And he said, as long as you lead it, yes. And I started getting yeses. I did present it to the commissioners then. This is a true collaboration of not just local, but regional. We were able to become part of the Tech Central model. This model has already expanded into the capital city, Harrisburg. They open up here in the next few months. York has since come on board after we came on. Lancaster expanded to a second location, so they have two. Reading has one, and now more recently, the word between the group is that Allentown and Bethlehem are also going to adopt this model in their respective cities. We've had community support, support from the state. I mean, it's really been a true community effort. We were able to secure state funding for the first time at a couple of years back for $5 million. Last year we got an increase to 8, and
That was for the,
yeah, this is for the whole
Yes.
region, not just Lebanon. Sorry.
for clarity, yeah.
Yeah, it's for the entire region. By collaborating and participating in the sponsorship, I've been able to bring in resources that, if we didn't have a center like this, would not come to Lebanon County. And we've been averaging for the last couple of years a little over $1 million. Out of that is where we're going to start training folks, because we got to pay the instructors. We got to make sure that the place is up to date to continue this education. So I'm excited. We just had a groundbreaking that the commissioners were part of with the renovations of the healthcare training rooms. We'll soon have the ribbon cutting, so sometime in September you'll get an invite from me. And then we do have to build an elevator in the back to provide access to everyone in the community, those that are on wheelchair and handicap. And then it's just, the future is looking pretty bright. There is challenges along the way. I'm seeking approval of a lien subordination with M&T Bank, which has also been a big contributor to our efforts here. With that money, we'll be able to finish the renovations for the healthcare training facility within the building. If we need it, yeah, if we need it, we'll have it. But if we don't need it, then at least it's there so we can continue the journey. I have another challenge that I got to meet after the healthcare training is that I have to provide a sprinkler system.
Can we just take care of this business?
Oh yes, absolutely.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the lien subordination agreement as presented.
And it's $250,000, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'll second the motion.
Okay, and then that would give us second position.
Yeah, if I could just take 30
Yeah.
seconds and explain. So as Raphael mentioned, there was $750,000 that was allocated from ARPA. You were the first grant that the county had done out of ARPA. And so we had filed a lien in place in the event that it didn't materialize, and so we were in a position at least to demonstrate to the U.S. Treasury that there was some protection in place. That's been in place. Raphael and your treasurer Bill Campbell were in a few months ago and said that they were pursuing some financing to do the improvements you're talking about, but with the county's lien in position, it prevented them from being able to borrow. So M&T Bank contacted us just recently. Solicitor Matt Bugley received the subordination agreement from M&T Bank. He looked it over. It's all fine. So this will put M&T in a first position and the county in the second position and allow their borrowing to go forward.
Okay. Is there any discussion or any questions regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. Okay?
Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'm always available. I'm only a phone call away. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you,
I have a
Raphael.
question, just a comment again, while Jamie talked about when that first allocation was made, there might have been some questions as to where it was going. I think you've put those questions to bed. Thank you for the progress that you've made. Think about touching lives, changing lives, in some cases maybe saving lives through your work, but also to the building. That's a beautiful architectural structure in our community, and you are taking good care of it and restoring it to where it needs to be. So thank you very much for all you're doing.
Thank you for your confidence.
We won't hold it
And
against you.
Maribel.
You're from Lancaster. We won't hold that against you.
I'm a free agent. I could be the doctor.
Maribel too, the two of you.
Oh
Your-
yeah,
your team.
she's been awesome. Without her, this wouldn't be done.
We know that.
Thank you.
We'll get the signatures, we'll get it to M&T back and forth, and then we'll file it.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
could tee this up a bit, if
Sure.
you don't mind. Matt's gonna talk a little about, the hotel tax, grants that you provide. At the meeting, 2 weeks ago, there was a conversation about, adopting or providing you with draft guidelines, which I've done, and then there was a question about how those grants are done, if they are being done in accordance with the act that was passed and which is now part of the county code. And so Matt was looking into that to get back to you, which he has done and he'll talk about. And then secondly, if you'd like today to consider these new guidelines, if you have any changes or additions or anything like that to them, we'll do that second, I
Did
believe.
you want
So.
Tourist Bureau to sit with them?
No, not really.
Okay.
You want to talk about your opinion on the act first?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Matt Bugley, County Solicitor. At the previous meeting, I was asked to provide a review regarding our ordinance and our guidelines pursuant to the hotel tax. And upon a review of our current ordinance and the guidelines, I'm happy to report that we are fully in compliance with what the county code requires. Just to provide some background for the board, Lebanon County and other counties have the ability to enact this hotel tax and to collect money from hotels, Airbnbs, etc. By way of the county code. It was Act 142 of 2000. That's also referenced on our program guidelines. That gave the power to the counties to impose this tax. There have been several subsequent amendments. There was one in 2016 which allowed the county to collect 5%, which is what we presently do. And there have been some changes. However, in fact, actually the most recent recodification of this just happened back in May. It was Act 14 of 2024, which was signed by Governor Shapiro several months ago. The language, however, governing 3rd through 8th class counties remains exactly the same. So the criteria, I provided the board with a brief memo, and it outlines the criteria and how the county is to follow the imposition of the tax, how it's collected, how it's then from the county treasurer's office then turned over to our designated tourist promotion agency, Visit Lebanon Valley, and then from there the county then by way of the ordinance provides guidance and provides direction on how those funds are to be allocated. And one important note I just want to mention, there's a 4% administrative fee that the county code provides for. Our ordinance provides that, the 4%. In speaking with our treasurer, we collect that. The remainder of the money then goes to Visit Lebanon Valley. I also want to note too that 10% of the funds, as it's presently enumerated in our ordinance, 10% of the funds then comes back, as you are aware, to the county.
It's 10% of the 96%.
10% of the 96%, that's correct. That comes then back to the county for the county to administer a grant program. The power to administer this grant program comes from paragraph 4 in this particular section of the county code. And there are two criteria that...
Can you be
Yes.
more specific as to paragraph 4?
Yes, so it's under the section that I highlighted in the memo, and it's with regard to the use of tax revenue. So it's paragraph D, subparagraph 4, and I can provide the actual.
Is that D?
Yes. So on the first page of my memo, it's paragraph D. It's at the bottom of the page, use of tax revenue. And then paragraph 4 allows the money to be used for programs, expenditures, or grants that are directly and substantially related to tourism or a business convention or meeting travel destination within the county, augment and do not compete with private sector tourism or travel efforts, and improve and expand the county as a destination market as deemed necessary by the recognized Tourist Promotion Bureau. And there's two tourist promotion agencies, I should say. There are two then subsections to that. The grants require a cash or in-kind local match of at least 25%, and the grants may not be used for signage that promotes a specific private entity on the situs of that entity, except where the signage also carries the logo of the recognized tourist promotion agency. Those two provisions are included in our grant guidelines. So the grant guidelines that we've been adhering to, that applicants receive, both what is eligible for grant money and those two conditions are presently included in our grant program guidelines. So as you can see, the county code lays out the foundation, lays out the framework for how this money is to be used. And upon review of our ordinance, I think our ordinance is very specific in referencing how the money is to be used, the procedure for the collection, then the money goes over to Visit Lebanon Valley, and then from there, then it's allocated according to what is included in the ordinance. So at this point, I would not recommend any changes to this. The only, I would just have a very minor change for the grant program guidelines. I understand the commissioners have a draft. I would just add, in addition to at the top, as a result of passage Pennsylvania Act 142, I would just add language and put "and subsequent amendments," including the amendment in 2016 and then the most recent amendment, which was Act 14 in 2024, because there is some confusion when you go and you read Act 142. You may not realize when you're reading it that is actually not the most current version of this, and reading through the county code with regard to hotel tax can be a little bit convoluted. There are special sections that govern different counties that have different populations. Fortunately, Lebanon County we are being a 5th class county, we're governed by the provision that says any county from 3rd class to 8th class. These are the provisions that we follow.
Okay. Question?
Yeah, this whole thing is a little troubling to me in that I know you're the attorney, but when I read this as a layperson, nowhere does it say the commissioners should decide the percentages. I voted against Act or number 54, I think it was, because at the time there was some nepotism with a commissioner on the board and somebody running the tourist bureau, or actively involved on their board. And so in addition to that, I don't see where it says the commissioners should set the percentages. The money is to go to the tourist bureau. I really like that we support the expo. And when it passed, I know not both of you were here, but I could let my colleagues make all the decisions, or okay, it passed, now I have to do my job. So I started voting on the grants. But I find it unusual that we're trying to continue with this and change the numbers. The Tourist Bureau is designated by law to be in charge. I don't know how we're getting away with designating the numbers, who gets what, and the amount of money. Can you explain that to me?
I can, yes. So I in my research, looked at a number of different counties. One of the counties that I had reached out to was York County. I had a good conversation via email with their solicitor, and she provided me with they have, between York County and their recognized tourist promotion agency, they have actually a memorandum of understanding. And so what their memorandum of understanding does is it's an agreement between the two parties which indicates that this is where the money is going to be allocated from the TPA. So 55% remains with the TPA, and then I can certainly provide you with a copy of what York County does. There are a number of other counties too. I looked at quite a few ordinances from around the state. I'll give you an example in Monroe County. It's very similar, where the money is designated to the tourist promotion agency, and then the money then is distributed essentially back to the county, like we do, for the county to be part of a grant program for applicants to come in to demonstrate that they are eligible and that they would be using the money in conformity with the law. So this is something. So I understand your question, but as far as the money with regard to when it goes from the TPA to other entities. This is something that other counties also have demonstrated that they have, I don't want to say control over, but they, being that the county is collecting the money, then the county is setting the parameters for how that money should be used by the TPA in accordance with the law.
Well, I don't read that in the law. And you know, when I was growing up, the saying was, you know, are you gonna jump off the cliff too, by doing what the others do, without seeing it in the law? And I had a concern then, and I have a concern today, that we are not really following the law. Once we turn it over to the TPA, we should have no authority. Who drafted those? Did they follow us? I mean, Monroe and York.
The fact that it's not specifically denied in the, if it's not saying that it is illegal to do what we're doing.
Correct.
I mean, there's nothing in there that says what we're doing is not.
Absolutely, and I want to make that
And
clear.
the county created this, we're the ones who put this together as far as the guidelines and so on. So we have the ability to dissolve it or continue it or do, you know, we have pretty.
That's correct, and I want to stress too that the law provides for the confines of how the money is to be used, and as long as that money is being used within the confines of this section of the county code, that is proper. And I understand your concern. The money, though, when you look at after the 4% administrative fee, you have a percentage that's going to Visit Lebanon Valley, which is being completely kept by them for them to do what they see fit. You have then a percentage going to the Expo Center, and then you have a percentage coming back to us, and the applicants for that pool of money then still have to adhere to the requirements. So I understand your point, and I just, like I said, this is something I looked at a number of different counties, and there is nothing in the county code that prohibits. This is our ordinance. We set the rate. We are following the dictates of the county code, and then in the ordinance, then we are putting additional requirements on that money.
2 questions. Is it 4% or 5%? I'm reading both percentages.
So the administrative fee is 4%. That is collected by the county treasurer's office. The actual tax itself is 5%.
The actual what?
The tax itself, the tax that's collected from the hotels.
Okay. Maybe 2016 or somewhere around there, we went from 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
2 to 1. Yeah.
Just to add, listening to Commissioner Litz's concerns, again, this board was the only organization that had the authority to impose the tax, first and foremost. And so I would think it has the authority to delegate those funds. It certainly could delegate it to the Tourism Bureau if it chose, but there's no reason why you should or have to do that, correct?
Well, and the way that the statute is written, so it does, I'll point out here, it says the revenues shall be used by the recognized tourist promotion agency for the following. And then, for example, it mentions paragraph 4. So 100% of the money after the 4% administrative fee does go to the tourist promotion agency, which is required by law. But then we, as the county, in enacting this, we say that 100% of that money, it has to be divvied up among a grant program, the Expo Center, the Visit Lebanon Valley.
Which are all consistent with the law.
All consistent with how the money should be used. And there's a list with regard to everything that it's to be used for. Also to the grant program, as I mentioned, the requirements for the grant program are included on our guidelines.
And just, we're here today to consider if we want to adopt this draft, if we're ready to do that. But nothing mentioning about reallocating percentages, though that is something that I have an interest in discussing at some point, but not today. I want to get some numbers to.
So we're not reallocating money today.
No, this was just his response to your question from
Of legality.
the meeting 2 weeks ago. The purpose or what you have in front of you for action today, if you choose, is the guidelines for the grants that you award. Because, and this will be maybe the third revision or so that has been made to this if you make those changes, so. That's the action today. There's not, if there were any changes to the allocations and such, that's an ordinance, which would have to go through an advertisement period, and it's your legislation effectively, is what that comes to. So,
These are just guidelines
yeah,
for
these are
those
just
who are gonna
you
submit an application.
can change these every meeting if you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there an interest in doing this today? Has
Well-
everyone had an ample time to look at it?
Yeah, the one sentence that still troubles me, under C, number 5. The granting of funds is solely at the discretion of the county commissioners, who reserve the right to withdraw grant funds or redirect the grantee for use of grant funds for an alternate project, should the grantee encounter factors which could negatively impact the project. I don't think it is solely at the discretion of the county commissioners.
We're on this thing, Joe.
Yeah, she's reading from that, but
But-
we're talking about of the 10% that you utilize for these grants, not the overall.
This is
Not
just-
not
No,
ordinance
this is
54.
just about.
No,
what
this
we,
is not an ordinance at all. These are guidelines. You can change these anytime you want. You can waive these. What you just read from number C5 is intended to give flexibility to either for the commissioners to withdraw the grant funds if, say, something changes to the event, or the event isn't what it was intended to be, or, and you've done this in the past, or the applicant had a change to something that they're asking for you to, reallocate it
This
or
is
extend it.
two-sided.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's only here.
Yes.
Oh, well, you said it wasn't,
No,
or somebody said it
I
wasn't.
you had the other piece in your hand. All we're worried about is this.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about.
I'm reading
You
from-
made it sound like I wasn't.
I'm reading
I
from,
thought you were,
I'm sure you're sorry.
I'm very sorry. Believe
Thank
me.
you.
so there's a single two-sided draft of
And
the
that's what I
guidelines.
was addressing and reading from.
Right, but this has nothing to do with the 55, 40, 10, I forget them right, but, that
55, 35.
55, 35, 10, that's not at all what this is. That's your ordinance. This is just guidelines to the 10% that you use. And C5 that you mentioned, that you cited, is to give some flexibility to maybe extend a grant period or change the scope of the grant if something changes with an event that the applicant is holding, or withdraw. That's all that is. And that's not changing. That's been there before.
Is there an interest in them?
I can just highlight what this effectively is doing is it is the guidelines, the changes to the guidelines are essentially to make a priority out of putting heads in beds, and which is what generates the tax. So it makes a priority out of events that are being funded that will generate overnight stays. And asking that the applicant provide some data or demonstrate that that's going to be the case. More so than in the past. Some of the applicants did a fantastic job of that, of demonstrating to you that they generated overnight stays. Some didn't, and some applications, from my perspective, it's questionable whether they are generating any overnight stays, and then you really aren't sort of replenishing the fund by giving these grants to those events. So, but that's, again, it's entirely up to you. The guidelines are yours. You can waive the guidelines. You've done that from time to time, and that's perfectly allowable. But it's just putting more of an emphasis on it. And to go back to what Matt was mentioning earlier, it still maintains the 25% match, which is part of the act. This is a grant limit of $5,000, as it has been. If you choose to change that, lower that for any reason, you may. Again, this is a draft, just to get this out here and make some changes and mainly prioritize overnight stays.
Is there a motion to adopt this, or to have some more discussion?
Matt did mention that he should submit amended
Yeah.
language just at the
Subsequent
beginning here,
amendments.
just
Yes.
to make sure that
Yeah,
we're
that's no,
consistent with
no problem.
the newest updates to this law.
Yep.
So with that, those amendments. And Jamie, could we add something here, just a statement you just made about the priority of heads and beds? We don't really say that on here, and, you know, it's probably another good point to add, that that's the highest priority of
Yeah.
the grants we receive.
That was the number one.
It is it is listed number one, but I'd love to say it even louder.
Okay.
We do get an awful lot of requests for very good events, for good causes, but that's the goal here.
So application must include evidence, event data, or narrative that demonstrates that the event attracts tourists to spend hotel stays. Did you want more than that?
We don't have to decide the specifics here.
Can we
Well, if you're
highlight
gonna
it?
adopt it,
Highlight it or something?
Yeah.
yeah, we can bold it.
Mhm.
Yes, that's a good one.
That improves it, yeah.
If we also include the date adopted. because-
Okay.
So we can make sure we get the subsequent amendments. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Open for discussion. I do have one clear thing that I would like to change, if you would consider it anyway, in this motion, or significant spending. I'd like to get that out of there, which would mostly emphasize that 100%, you know, what we're focusing on is the hotel bed, heads and beds.
Right, so if I can speak to that, and I understand that, you and I, individually, we talked about that briefly, so it states grant money shall be used for promotion of events that attract tourists to spend hotel stays or significant spending in Lebanon County. I inserted that in the event that there's an attraction that doesn't have overnight stays, but in your view is going to be maybe a one-day significant spend, that it would give you that alternative. But if you take it out,
We can still make
it's
the
fine. You
exception.
can still make the exception, sure. If you just
I
want
just don't want it to.
point blank hotel
I don't
stays,
want
then
any
that's it.
grayness
I
if we.
would agree to that.
Okay.
We don't need that.
Okay, so you are proposing to amend it and,
I'll second that.
okay,
All right.
to remove it, so it would read to attract, that attracts tourists to spend hotel stays in Lebanon County.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions, any comments? Any other deliberation? And again, as Jamie said, we can change this next week if we want to. I mean, we just wanted to get something, because we have 3 that are, you know, hanging out there. We have like $8,500 or something. Okay, so, but we don't, you know, we go through it because we haven't had the strength of that emphasis. So this will help with that.
You're maintaining the 5,000, which is a maximum. You can also choose in an application to say, you know, we're gonna do a portion of the request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even more.
What I'd like to know is if the commissioners would be willing to take some of the pertinent parts of the guidelines, specifically this idea of emphasizing stronger heads and beds and some of the other points that are in there, and actually implement them into the ordinance, because as Jamie just said, they're just guidelines, and you can waive them at any time and do as you please. So it seems to me that if you really want to put teeth into it, more teeth into it, as Commissioner Kuhn just suggested, that the guidelines be incorporated into the ordinance. So my question is, are you willing to?
Do you think that an
these
applicant
items-
is gonna make the distinction between whether it's an ordinance or a guideline?
Well-
This is what they're gonna be dealing with. You know.
I just think it gives more teeth to your actions and more accountability on the commissioner's part to ensure that the monies that are coming in, that tourists are paying, they come to the county and then go to BLV, are actually being used what they're intended for. Because as Jamie expressed, sometimes it's pretty questionable whether or not the money that's going out is actually putting heads in beds. They're going to projects that you like and they're admirable, but are they really putting heads in beds? And if you want to have something that has teeth, then it seems to me, and I'm asking, do you have the desire to actually write some of these and put them into the ordinance, advertise it, and go through all the dual process? Because otherwise, it's really kind of like an exercise in futility.
Well,
if you're not really going to put teeth into
I'm
it.
a little, I'm going to dismiss that. Your
But
suggestion.
would you want to do that?
No, because I think I don't think this is an exercise in futility. If we're giving guidelines to an applicant, and here's what you have to go by, and they say, well, but I know that really it's not in the ordinance, so I think I can get around this by talking to two commissioners. You know, this is meant to, in my opinion, to slow down the number of applicants, because they'll read and they'll say, well, wait a minute, my thing, I'm just doing this, and it's not really gonna put heads in beds. So, you know, I appreciate your suggestion, but I'm just one.
And if I could expound upon that, then when the applicant comes, each application obviously goes through the board, and so the commissioners they're very much aware of the criteria. So that's where the decision is going to be made. So while I understand with regard to the discussion putting it in the ordinance versus putting it in the guidelines, but the guidelines are what the individual applicants are getting when they seek this money. So as long as it's in the guidelines, and then the commissioners are the ones that are determining whether or not this money is being used appropriately.
But if I could follow up, the guidelines have existed prior to this. One of the guidelines is that it's stated in your guidelines that have gone out to applicants that it shall not be used for people who are, for hotel stays. It's not to be used for hotel stays. That has come up at this many times at this meeting, and Commissioner Litz has brought up that you're giving money, and it's in the person's application that stated that they were using the money to pay for judges who are going to be at the Expo Center and judge events. So I would suggest that you have the guidelines, but that hasn't deterred people from, in the past, for applying for funding for their pet projects, that they're still going to try and work around the system. And you've had that guideline that predates, it's still in there, that you should not pay money for hotel stays, that money should not be used for that. But that's what has happened in the past. So how are we going to ensure that in the future that we're actually putting heads in beds?
We'll be the judge of that. My answer to that is that with this emphasis on this, I'd be more careful, but I'd have to still think about if someone is asking someone to be a judge, this isn't the people that are running it that are staying in those, asking to pay for their staying in the hotel. I mean, I don't want to get into the minutiae of that, but that's been my thinking, that if it's somebody that they're asking for a judge to come from Scranton and stay overnight, that's different than the person that's sponsoring this event and asking us to pay for their stay in the hotel. That's the spirit of it that I have been thinking of. Yes, question?
I'm Tracama, Lebanon City, as somebody who's attended almost every commissioner meeting for the last 3 years. I understand what Jim is saying, and I'll bet if we compared notes, we'd have the same examples that we're thinking of. I totally agree with what he's saying and how it should probably be handled. That's it.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? If not, all in favor of the motion as presented, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Carried 2-1. Thank you. Anything else? Matthew?
I have nothing further.
All right, Mr. Anderson is due.
He's got an entourage.
Morning.
Morning. Thanks for waiting.
You have handouts.
I want you to make the introduction
Yep.
without turning around.
Do you want everybody? Yeah, no. I thought you said, yeah, I can introduce myself, Jamie. After that, I don't know.
All right.
Sorry, good morning.
Good morning.
Michael Anderson, Director of Domestic Relations.
Tara Fankovic, Deputy Director of Domestic Relations.
Good morning.
I also just brought some individuals from my office, just so they could be here to be kind of recognized for what we are here for today. We go ahead.
Yep.
August is recognized as Child Support Awareness Month. We have been planning on trying to make sure that the community knows the services that we provide here in Lebanon County. Our name, Domestic Relations, does not really match what we do. And we are confused a lot with domestic violence, which we are not. So one of the things we thought was important is to have events that, in conjunction with Child Support Awareness Month, that the community knows the different services we provide, which is family support, locate services, and paternity, also known as parentage. And so we really wanted to, have this outreach. And so talking with the president judge and with Jamie, we had approval to do an event on August 9th from 10 to 2 here out back of the municipal building, so that people can come, either with cases, without cases, just people in the community want to know some of the services we provide. We're just going to have that information available for them, and answer any questions that they have. If it's somebody that's never dealt with child support or domestic relations before, we're going to have information for them. If it's somebody that already has a case with us, we're going to have people available up in the office to answer those questions for them. We've pretty much made our schedule available for the community that day. That's what we're going to do, and we hope to build upon this in the future if this goes well, trying to get the word out. So we really want people to know we're here for them. A lot of times people think about domestic relations and, we're not looked at favorably, and just because, sometimes people aren't happy, some people don't think they're not getting enough support, others think they're paying too much support, and that's a fine line, obviously, but we want people to know we're here for them, and we're going to do the best we can. Obviously, we're part of the court system, so the courts are also involved with child support, but that's our main goal, is to try to get support for the kids. And so on August 9th, we're going to have some activities for kids. We're going to be available to answer questions. I have flyers that we're going to have out, and so we appreciate the county allowing us to do it, and the president judge, and so we just wanted to bring that to your attention today, and then also the proclamation for the Child Support Awareness Month.
Yes.
If I may, I think a succinct date, time, you said the place, but also about the book bags.
Yep, so we're gonna do a book bag giveaway. We originally wanted to do 2. We have enough materials at this point from the donations, not only from people in my office, but people from other offices. We're going to do 3. So we're gonna do a raffle for those. And then we are gonna have little fun treat giveaways for the kids until they last. We have so many bags of those. Just a fun thing. Normally with child support, we don't allow kids in our office just because of the nature of what goes on, but on the 9th down there where kids are welcome, hope to see a bunch.
Okay, again, August 9th, 10 a.m.
10 to 2
p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, it's gonna be out back, right near the stairs.
Thank you.
We do have a proclamation prepared. Jamie, would you-
Whereas August is Child Support Awareness Month, let it be known that the County of Lebanon is pleased to recognize and observe August 2024 as Child Support Awareness Month, and hereby recognizes the hashtag Support for Families National Campaign for Child Support. Whereas this year celebrates the 49th anniversary of the Title 4D Child Support Enforcement Program, where Pennsylvania's commitment to providing children and families as well as caregivers the emotional, medical, and financial support they deserve and desire. And whereas the 2024 slogan for Domestic Relations Association of Pennsylvania, DRAP, is helping families today for a brighter tomorrow. And whereas Lebanon County is focused on improving the lives of children and families by providing excellent customer service and establishing procedures to make child support a reliable source of income. Good relationships build trust, and that trust helps collect more support and build a strong foundation for children. And whereas in the federal fiscal year of 2023, child support programs nationwide collected $29.6 billion and served 1 in 5 children in the United States, with Lebanon County collecting $14.5 million. And whereas child support has served 12.7 million children nationwide, and 97% of child support collected went to families, providing a reliable source of income for families to help their children thrive. Now therefore be it resolved that the County of Lebanon hereby encourages citizens to join the national effort toward awareness of child support and #support4families.
Make a motion to approve the proclamation as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and I'll just add before we vote that a lot of difficult work is done in this building and throughout the county employ. And I just want to say that your department has, some of the most difficult work to do, and it's most vital work of all that's done in this building. So we appreciate what you come to work to do every day, and with the quality that you do it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Any comments? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Thank you so
Adopted 3-0.
much. Thank you, appreciate it.
We do have
Thank you all.
a copy of the proclamation for you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Michael, thank you. Thank you so
Oh, okay, today's the first, yeah, okay.
Okay. Jamie?
Yep, got 5 items here yet. First, real estate exemption requests or applications for disabled veterans. I have one, Aubrey Satino of Lambs Lane, Jonestown, having met all the requirements for eligibility.
Make a motion to approve that request.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that real estate exemption. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Have recommended reappointments to the Lebanon County Commission on Drug and Alcohol Abuse Advisory Council, and they are Tina Litz in the criminal justice category, whose term would expire February 19th of 27. Actually, all 3 of these will expire February 19th, 27. Bonnie Loy in the optional category, and Marilyn Nolte as a human services professional.
Make a motion to approve the appointments as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve those reappointments. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
We have a resignation from the Children and Youth Advisory Board of Amy Custer from Lebanon. I'll just take a quick motion to accept that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept that resignation of Amy Custer with our thanks for her volunteer work. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So ordered.
And on the Lebanon County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council member, lots of A's there, sorry. We had a resignation of the council member, John Prorubiansky, and that was on June 20th, or after the June 20th commissioner meeting. He's no longer able to serve as a member. He's moved out of the area to be closer to his children. And they have found a replacement that they recommend as a new council member to serve out the remaining term for John, and that is Faye Fox, who is a retiree from the department, who is a consumer and has volunteered at the Area Agency on Aging for a number of years now, and she's agreed to join the council to finish out the remainder of that term, which goes to June 30th of 2026. So you want to combine the resignation and the appointment.
Okay, motion.
Make a motion to approve the resignation and appointment as presented.
Second.
It's been moved moved and seconded that we accept John's resignation and with our thanks, and also Ms. Fox replacing John. And any questions regarding this motion? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And last item, which was added to the agenda at the beginning, is the participation grant agreement and assurance of compliance for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program through the Community Action Partnership. And this is simply an assurance that all of the requirements are being met, a sign off on that. And to my knowledge, this has not changed for probably a couple of decades. It's just something annually that must be done.
Make a motion to approve the grant agreement with the MAPP for TAP.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this document. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
That's all I have.
Okay, if there's no further business to come before the board, we look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you for your attendance and your input. We stand adjourned.